Hello everybody, it's Roku here, and we're back again with another Darius tutorial video. Now this video is going to be more about the item builds that you can go on Darius. I'm going to go down all the viable items in the game for Darius, and explain what they're good for, what they're bad for, the situations they're good into, and etc. Now before we get into it, I would like to plug my Twitch channel real quick. It's twitch.tv/RhokuTV. I'll put it down in the description along with my Darius guide. And basically, if you have any more specific questions about the guide, if you don't understand anything, or if you just want to come chill out with me, then go follow me over there, and I will just be able to answer your questions there with as much detail as possible. So yeah, let's get into it. So, let's begin with all of our starting items. So, we'll start items. Now the two most popular ones are Doran's Blade and Doran's Shield. Now for the most part you want to be going Doran's Blade. Now D-Blade is an item you want to go on Darius if you are against a melee top laner, like a melee bruiser like Kled, Renekton, sometimes Riven, where like you want to just be aggressive, you want to go for all of this early, because D-Blade actually gives you a lot of amazing stats. The health, the attack damage, and the lifesteal all just come together and allow you to be like very powerful in early game all-ins. Not to mention how if you get killed in the first fight you do in lane, or if you get ganked, then you can just build another Doran's Blade. Like, let me just get some gold. You can build another Doran's Blade and just stack like 2 or 3 of them at most, where you're just gonna have an insane amount of stats, where like you will still be able to win the 1v1s quite confidently, even if they do have kills or CS up on you, right? So D-Blade into matchups where you're gonna fight early, into melee matchups, and into matchups where it's just very easy for you to win, like tank matchups like Sion, and you just want to kill them quickly and snowball on them, right? The other item that you can go is Doran's Shield. Now, if you're a beginner Darius player and you're not as confident with Darius, then you should be going Doran's Shield into every single matchup. Doran's Shield works into everything, right? Sometimes some other items work better, but D-Shield just works the best. This is due to the fact that like D-Shield gives you health, so it gives you stats for early game all-ins, so it's not as bad, and it also gives you the whole health regeneration thing, which allows for you to sustain a lot of poke, like you can just basically buy this into a lot of the annoying ranged lanes and just take some poke. Like, let's say you're going for a minion, they auto attack you, they do a full combo on you, then it's not going to be as punishing if you have Doran's Shield. Especially if you have, I don't have it right here, I have Bone Plating right here, but if you have Doran's Shield combined with the rune's Second Wind, then you're going to actually be able to go for CS into range matchups, as this will just give you back a lot of HP regen, right? So it's just very, very fucking good. So those are our 2 most popular starting items. Now, the third, like, not most meta, but the third starting item we can go for is Corrupt Pot. Now, the thing about Corrupt Pot is that, like, there are some Darius players, like, early back in the season, like, 6 and 7 and shit, Corrupting Pot used to be very, very popular amongst Darius players, because with Corrupt Pot, you could much more easily do the whole level 1 cheese with your W. Now, with top laners getting better overall, you can't actually just W cheese them as often, so like, Corrupt Pot's usage has become a bit, worse. I myself don't really like Corrupt Pot at all, because basically what Corrupt Potion does is you get it into farm lanes, where like, you're going to be trading a lot, but the champion is basically never going to get into kill range with you. And the more like prevalent case where you want to be taking Corrupt Potion into is into champions who themselves also take Corrupting Potion. I'm talking the Jaxes, the Ilawis, champions who take Corrupting Potion themselves. If you take Corrupt Pot into those champions, they're going to have a much more easier time laning against them, right? Because here's how Jax wins the lane against you, right? You take a few trades, he loses the trades, but boom, he just presses Corrupt Potion and just instantly heals back up. And so you might have beaten him in the trade, but because he has Corrupt Potion, he's just going to end up at a higher HP than you, which is going to allow him to beat you in the next all-in, right? So Corrupt Potion is very, very strong into those kinds of lanes, Jax, Lowy, and as I mentioned before, any champion that takes Corrupt Potion themselves. One more thing to note is when you take Corrupt Pot, you always want to take Time Warp Tonic. That's another limitation of this starting item, which I do not like. I'd much prefer the passive stats and the passive abilities from Resolve, or the aggressiveness you can take from Sorcery, instead of having to go Inspiration. But like when you take Corrupt Potion, you have to go Inspiration so that you can make usage out of Time Warp Tonic, because Time Warp Tonic is a very, very, very powerful rune, because it gives you move speed. So for earlier levels, you have enough move speed to, we all know how much Darius loves move speed, so it gives you early move speed. And when you're ignited, or like when you're dealing with damage over time like Teemo, etc., you could just pop Corrupting Potion and save yourself from death. I don't know, I can't count the amount of times where I've just ulted someone, left them to die for the bleed, and they've popped Corrupting Potion and they suddenly just survived my bleed stacks. It's very annoying, but it is a viable strategy. So there's that to look out for, and those are the uses of Corrupt Potion. Now I'm going to get into the more troll starting items, right? So, the next, I'm just going to go over ones that can be done, but you shouldn't really... Alright, I forgot this one. Like, these are the more specific ones that are kind of like more... Like, they only work to very specific situations, so you have to do them like with restraint. But if you do them right, they can work very, very, very well. So, one of these examples is going 3 Rejuvenation Beads and a Health Potion. Now, 3 Reju Beads with a Health Potion along with Second Wind allows for some of the super annoying lanes like Lucian, Cassiopeia, Vayne, these super hyper annoying lanes that just poke you the fuck down from like a billion range. This setup makes them actually, you're able to actually go through them. And another thing you can do, which I think is an overkill, but you can also buy a D shield after. But in my opinion, this is a waste of money, because you'd much rather be building into like a Ninja Tabi's or a Spectre's Cowl, depending on like the lane you're up against, So I wouldn't recommend it, but if you need the extra HP regen, then you can do it. But yeah, the general thing when you're like fighting against a rage opponent is that every single CS is worth like around 80 or so HP. If you take more than 80 damage, that's basically one auto attack's worth of damage. If you take more than that, then that CS that you got was not worth it. Or if you got less than that, then that CS you got was worth it. This setup, along with Second Wind, makes that threshold a little bit higher, because your HP regen is going to be so crazy. Like, with 3 Rejuvenation Beads and a Health Potion, you're going to have like 5 HP per second, which is essentially like half a Health Potion on permanently. Like, permanently. It's just like, if I have this on, if I'm just drinking this, but like half of it, but instead of just for 15 seconds, it's for like the entire lane. So, let's say you took a bad trade, you fucked up, and you're at like 200-300 HP. Normally, you would have to like you'd be stuck, sitting here, having to farm the melee minions and not really going for the range at all. But with this setup, you can just go back a little bit, to wait 20-30 seconds, and then you'll be at an HP where you can, start trading or start going for CS again. So this setup is very, very, very good into like the Nico tops, the fucking Jaces. Although I love the D shield more into Jace because I want to fight Jace early, but still though, this setup actually is like a cheat code into range matchups, because like what it allows for you, it just lets you farm up, get your counter items, and then force an all in, So yeah. I won't really go over the other starting items, because they're, as I mentioned before, they're more troll, but I'll just briefly mention them. Longsword 3-pot, This is, not 4, 3, this is like too fucking risky of a purchase, and it is way, way too greedy, right? It works into like the easiest of lanes, but like the thing is like, if you die with this setup, then you're just completely fucked, Like, it only works against like Scion, sometimes like, fucking Malphite. Well, not really against Malphite if he's running Comet, because he can poke you down sometimes. But yeah, just like, just a super, super, super fucking easy lanes who can't even fight back against you. Because what the advantage of this purchase is that it lets you get Phage on your first back. The disadvantage, it's very, very risk and reward, as you don't actually have the health for early all-ins. If you get ganked, you're just gonna get creamed instantly. And like, you know, if you die with this, then you're gonna be very, very behind. But overall, like, it's not bad, you know, into the easier lanes. Only get this if you're very, very confident on Darius, by the way. Just like, if you're bad on Darius, not bad. If you're inexperienced on Darius, then never go for this, ever, alright? So, the next starting item is Cloth Armor into 4 potions. Not 5, 4. Jesus Christ. But yeah, this setup is kind of good into like heavy poke AD matchups. I'm talking Lucian, not Renekton. Renekton, you need D-Blade. Lucian, sometimes Pantheon. Jace, this is especially good into Jace. Ignite Riven, it works against her quite well as well. But basically what this setup allows for you to do, the potions allow for you to actually sustain back, like, because you don't have the stats for an all-in, right? And you're going to be getting this when you don't want to be, like, fighting them too much. And you also want to be taking double armor in your runes with this, by the way. What this is going to do is it is going to give you, like, quite a bit of armor early on. So, like, you know, you actually, like, take way less damage from your opposing top laner. Like, that Jace fucking, you know, that Power Slam or whatever the fuck that shit is. Like, that's just gonna do a lot less damage to you, alright? So, this is good against that. But the other advantage of this item is that, this starting, like, build, is that, like, if you just, like, stand back a bit, farm up, use your potions to sustain back up, you're basically gonna be able to afford Ninja Tabi on your first back. It's just 800 more gold, right? So that's like 4 waves or so, like just 5 minutes or so in the lane, and you'll be able to get Ninja Tabis, you know, your first back. And a Ninja Tabi rush will actually allow you to beat a lot of the AD laners and all-ins. Jax, Renekton, Riven, like Jace, like Vayne, Lucian, all these annoying auto-attack AD champions, you can suddenly beat with Ninja Tabi. Ninja Tabi is so fucking powerful, it's actually unbelievable. Like, even if you are ahead, like Fiora, Tryndamere, you know, Trundle, if you're ahead of these annoying auto-attack AD champions, Ninja Tabi will essentially just win you all-ins, as long as you don't take stupid fights, you know. Like, it's actually like a cheat code, it just wins you all-ins instantly, right? And into Fiora, you could also build this into a Bramble Vest. So, like, there's that, like, the disadvantage of this setup is that you're not going to be able to fight too much early on, because you lack the AD and the HP. And this is more so to go along with the whole playstyle of Rejuvenation Bead, which is where you just, like, stand back, try to get the CS, and only go for an all-in if the enemy makes a really stupid mistake, where, like, oh, even if I had, like, no items, I'd be able to get that kill. Those kind of things, you know. So don't try anything stupid, and this, you know, setup will safely get you to a Ninja Tabi, and from that point, you can start playing, like, super aggressively, looking for all-ins, and then just destroy your opponent, right? So that is going to be all the starting items that I'm going to be covering. So to round it all up, like as a TLDR, like, as, like, you know, a summary, into melee matchups, they want to stomp and snowball if you want to like fight early on, and like if you want to be stacking a few of these, you know. So yeah, but don't always stack them. Only stack D-Blade if you are losing, you know, to help yourself, like, boost yourself back up so that you have another chance to get back into the lane. It works into all matchups. It's good if you are a beginner Darius, just go for this all the fucking time if you're a beginner. It works very well into poke matchups, and it's overall just a balanced starting item for Darius, you know? It just, like I said, it just works into everything, you know? So if you don't really know what to start, just start D-Shield. And, like, combined with Second Wind, it's very, very fucking good. Triple Rejuvenation Bead and Health Potion. It's very, very, very fucking good into annoying poke matchups that you can't touch. Cassiopeia, Nico, Lucian, Vayne, sometimes Kennen. Like, these matchups, they just have no hope in catching. It just gives you so much HP regen to work with that you can actually go for CS, you know? So, yeah. Then, Longsword works into, like, into super, super, super easy matchups where you're guaranteed to win. so it doesn't even matter what you run. And it's for when you want to just rush phage. Corrupt Pot, it works into just boring farm fests, but it especially works well into other users of Corrupt Potion. You know, Jax, Illaoi, and just champs like that build Corrupt Potion. But you need Time Warp Tonic, otherwise it's not worth it. Then Cloth Armor, and this basically, I just explained this, but it works into long range, or like, not long range, but just like annoying auto attackers, you know? Like, you're gonna be you don't want to buy this into like Kled or Renekton because you want D-Blade into them because you actually want to fight them and beat them. But against the annoying ones that you can't reach, like Vayne, Lucian, and Jace, this is actually quite an acceptable start because it lets you rush Ninja Tabi, and Ninja Tabi is just like the ultimate item that makes you beat. It lets you win against all AD matchups, provided you haven't died before, you know. So yeah, that is all of our starter items, right? Now, I'm gonna get to the part of the video that I know that you've been waiting for. Black Cleaver or Trinity Force, right? Now, I could sit here and do like a full-on comparison between the two, and like, I'm not just gonna be like, oh, this one has more health, or this one has more damage. Like, no, I'm not gonna do that, because you can find that by just like looking at the two items and doing some math, you know. I'm just gonna tell you with my game knowledge which one is good for which situations and when you should be buying each of them, right? So, Black Cleaver. A lot of Darius players, and a lot of especially the older Darius players, just live and die by this item, you know? They just won't abandon it for Triforce. And honestly, sometimes you just have to do that, especially if you want like to solo carry on Darius, because the thing about like Cleaver is that like it's good on Darius, but like it doesn't give nearly as much damage as Trinity Force, right? So I'll just dial it back a bit and explain like, you know, when to buy each. So Cleaver, you want to buy Cleaver when you're behind in lane and just don't have like a way to get Triforce, you know. Triforce is like, it's like the second most, it is the most expensive item in the fucking game. So it takes a lot of kills, CS, and just resources to get Triforce. And because of this reason, like, it might be better to just go for Black Cleaver when you're losing in lane. Like, you die to the Renekton or like the Aatrox or whatever the fuck, you're 2-3 kills behind, and like, you're never gonna get Triforce. What's another bad reason to get Triforce when you're behind is that, look at the build path for this. Phage, Kindle Jump. They're very, very good fucking items. For like, Phage is good, but like, these items are a bit awkward to get, you know? Like, just pure attack speed or pure damage, you know? It doesn't just work like too well with Darius's kit, you know? You need a bit of meaty tankiness with Darius to, you know, accompany like, you know, the damage. You need both. You just can't get like one of them until, you know, you've done Triforce Sterak, and then you can go full tank. But like, up until that point, you need both tankiness and damage. Like, this is my opinion, by the way. Like, in my opinion, pure damage Darius is stupid, because like, once you get your like 2 Triforce Sterak, you don't need damage after that, you know. But I'll get to that later. So yeah, Cleaver has a lot better build path. It's a lot cheaper, and it works so much better in team fights. So the first case was if you're losing and don't have gold, but the second case is if you're up against like two tanks or so. Now, normal tanks, like, you know, some tanks like Amumu and shit, like, you don't have to get like Cleaver into them, you know, you're okay with Triforce. But like, sometimes when it's an Ornn who's gonna pick, like, the Ornn is so fucking stupid, because 2-3 items in, and he's gonna have like 400 armor, like, out of nowhere. Just some fire, Iceborne, 300-400 armor, just straight up, you know. And nobody on your team is actually gonna be able to kill that thing. Like, even if you're fed, like, as long as the Ornn has a brain and actually just stops dying to you and just sits back and scales up, the Ornn is gonna end up being this mega tanky monstrosity that your team has to work with, you know, has to deal with. And sometimes it like, even if you are ahead in lane and you're beating him, it might just be better to go Cleaver anyway, because without Cleaver, like he's gonna be avoiding so much of your damage that even the passive armor penetration on your E is not gonna be enough to just cleave through this guy. I know how it feels. Like, I've lived through it, where I've beaten the shit out of some Ornn, killed him 2-3 times, Iceborne, fucking, you know, Sunfire, he upgrades both of them, and then he's this mega tanky monstrosity, and it takes me like half a minute to just cleave through like his health. It's so impossible to kill him, right? So, because of this reason, you know, it's actually better to go Cleaver into Ornn, you know? Ornn is an example, but I'm talking in general about tanks that stack armor, you know? Malphite, Sejuani, you know, these kind of tanks that just have like that have such massive, like, and Leona sometimes, like these annoying ass resistance stacking tanks who you just can't cleave through normally, you know. If it's just one of them, then it's okay, but if it's like two of them, like 2 or more of them, then you have to get Cleaver, because Cleaver not only reduces their, like, you know, armor so you can cleave through them better, it also gives you a little bit of more health. So it allows you to survive for longer against them. Because when you're fighting a tank as Darius, your job is to just outlast them. Because you're going to be healing back a lot from your Q. They're going to be healing back, like, you know, you're going to be healing back and dealing more damage to them than they're going to be doing to you. So you're just going to survive for longer than them until you can use your R on them, you know? So that is why Cleaver is way, way better into a tankier team, you know, than Triforce. You don't need the extra Triforce damage. So, yeah. And the other reason Cleaver might work is, like, let's say you're in a game and you are, like, not the carry, you know? And it happens. One of the skills in solo queue is to realize when you are not the carry and to just, okay, I'm feeding now, or this is a team comp that I just cannot fight against. But my AD carry, on the other hand, or my mid laner or my jungler, they're fed, you know, and they can do a lot of work into this team comp. So I'm just gonna, like, give up this, like, idea of me carrying, and I can, like, allocate all my resources to helping this guy out, you know? Like, you play backline, you peel for your AD carry and stop that fed talent or whatever from just killing them, you know? You just peel for your ADC, you hit the tanks so that your ADC can kill them well, and just meathead for them, you know? For this playstyle, then Cleaver is just far, far superior. So, you know, if you're going for something like this, then Cleaver is the option. Now, Triforce. Triforce is way better than Cleaver when it comes to solo carrying, you know? A lot of the teams nowadays will just be stacking, like, a lot of damage, so many squishy champions with full damage, and honestly, like, the whole idea of, oh, I'm just gonna outlast the enemy doesn't work into most teams, you know? It works into tanky teams, but a lot of teams are just not tanky. They're just full damage, and you just have to kill them faster than they kill you. And Triforce actually lets you do this so well. Because Darius, with the just Triforce, does so much fucking damage with his initial combo that, like, you know, your goal in teamfights is to get your passive, right? Now, you can either stack it to 5, or you can just execute someone with your ultimate. With Cleaver, your only goal is to stack to 5, unless you're super fed. But with Triforce, you no longer have to stack to 5, because once you get your hands on a squishy, your RWQ combo is going to do enough damage to the point where you can just kill them with your R. As you don't need to stack to 5, you know, they're just low enough for the stacks combined with the ultimate to just be killed straight up, you know. This makes playing Darius like a lot better, because you have another source of your passive, you know, getting activated. Your ult is better, your combo deals way more damage, and Triforce actually lets you 1v9 teams a lot better, because, like, you know, no AD carry can actually avoid, like, you got Noxy in mind. It's a fed Jhin, like 5-stack W with Triforce, flash auto, and then R, you know, they actually cannot deal with that. It's just no counterplay for them. Because, like, your W with Noxy might deals like 900 or 1000 damage, and your R does like 700 or 800. It's like 2k damage that's just unavoidable, you know? So, like Triforce lets you make so much more plays. It lets you, like, 1v9 a lot better. It's a lot more risky because you're not as tanky, and more damage builds are more, you know, risky. But Triforce just gives so much damage and gives you so much more options that it's just worth it. So overall, you want to go Triforce if you're ahead in lane, if you want to carry, if the enemy has a lot of squishy champs they want to take care of, and, like, if you want to be an actual backline threat to the enemy team. And the last thing, the reason you want to get Triforce is if you want to be split pushing. Some teams are just impossible to beat in 5v5, right? They just have, like this nasty team fighting composition. into those kinds of teams, you just have to like don't do this if they have hard engage. Like doing this into a hard engage is just suicide because your team is just gonna get rolled over and over again. But overall, split pushing is like a very, very powerful tactic. Like in this meta, it's not that strong, but like this is just one meta. You know, it's gonna change as time continues on, and split pushing will come back into the meta again. And when it does, you want to be able to learn how to split push. There are a lot of resources on how to split push on the internet, and you can find them. And on my guide, I have like an entire a few paragraphs and pages on like how to split push. So go check that out and go learn how to split push. But if you want to do any split pushing, then you need Triforce. You know, like you actually need Triforce. One more thing, if you're planning on going Cleaver, please just take Legend Alacrity, okay? Because if you take Cleaver, but you don't take an attack speed in your runes, then you are not going to be able to just 1v1 anything. Because Darius without attack speed is just like, you just can't fight people properly, you can't do your combos properly at all. Like, let me just put like a dummy down for here, you know. Like, it's that. Like, the attack speed makes it so much easier to do shit like that, you know. Like, your RWQ combos become a lot faster. It's like, you cancel your auto attacks list because they're faster, you know. You know, because your auto attacks faster, you can, you know, cancel the animation better and kite better. It just makes playing Darius so much more smooth. So like attack speed is very, very good on Darius. So don't skimp on it. Don't build too much of it. Don't build like Phantom Dancer or whatever because attack speed is good, but don't like avoid it, you know. Just get a good balance. I've mentioned this before, but 1.1 attack speed is like the optimal level at which, like, if you go any further, then you're getting too much. But that's like the maximum you can get while it's still being good, you know? So yeah. Those are like the big two items. Now I'm gonna go into this beautiful fucking item. Sterak's Gauge. This item is so fucking good. It's actually unbelievable how amazing this item is. And I'm gonna tell you why. So look, what this item, like champions in League of Legends get stats every time they level up, right? Now, like, let's just level up a bit. My health increased, my AD increased, everything just increased, you know? Now, like, champions get different amounts of stats based on who they are, and Darius actually gets so much more stats than, like, most other champions in League of Legends. I think he's, like, in the top, like, 10 or 5 when it comes to all of the statistics, where it just gets default stats. Like, he gets like 100 health, like straight up every level. He gets a lot of AD every level. It's just insane how much AD Darius has, you know? What Sterak does is it gives you bonus AD, so it scales up with all your, you know, abilities, like, and it gives you like bonus AD that's like to half your attack damage. Let's just read it from the shop because it doesn't display here, but like 50% of your base attack as bonus 2 damage. So I have 88 base AD here, and so Sterak is going to give me 44 base AD as bonus damage. Now, what this does is like it makes your leveling up scale even harder. So let's just level up to like max here. So yeah, 75 AD. It's 75 AD. Look at like the maximum AD items. This gives almost as much damage as the most expensive AD items in the game, and it's only 3200 gold, like 3.2k gold. Like, that's insane. And this synergy is just with Darius and some of the other bigger juggernauts, but it's very, very fucking good for a booster item. Why? Because this not only gives you a shit ton of AD, but it also gives you HP, 450 health, which is a solid amount, and it gives you a shield. This shield has saved me in so many fucking opportunities that I can't even explain to you how useful it is. It is so fucking useful. Like, you're in a team fight, you get CC'd, and then the shield just pops while they're trying to melt you down, and it gives you like solid 3-4 seconds of extra life. Or like, you're running from the enemy, they shoot you down, but this shield pops and it just saves you. And you're left at like 50 HP wondering how you survive. It's because it's Sterak's. This item is so fucking good. And what's even better is that if the shield pops, you get 30 tenacity for 8 fucking seconds. That is so fucking insane. Because, like, if you're already running Tenacity, and you get even more Tenacity, you're pretty much going to just walk through the enemy CC. Like, legit. If you're running Unflinching, Tenacity, these boots, and then the Sterak pops, you're essentially immune to all CC. Like, actually immune to all CC. Like, Sterak is so fucking good. And also, like, one more thing to mention. It's like a little, you know, trick. But basically, when Darius increases in size, like, I'll press E right now, but you see this blue part, right? That's his E hitbox. If the enemies are inside it, it lands, you know? Let's just, like, if the enemies are inside it, it lands. I'll just turn, I think I've set it to, like, Shift E. Yeah, there we go. So if the enemies are inside it, it will land. And if the enemies aren't inside it, just go a bit further, it won't land. The thing, when Darius gets bigger, like the animation of him just pulling, his model gets bigger, and sometimes his axe goes through the target, but like he doesn't actually pull the target because the hitbox of his like E stays the same, you know? So if your character model gets bigger from Sterak or Lulu Ultimate or Elixir of Iron, please keep in mind that your E hitbox does not get bigger. So like just keep that in mind, alright? So yeah, that's just, Sterak is such a good item that you almost always want to be getting it as your secondary item. It's Triforce or Cleaver, make your choice, and then go for Sterak, you know? The only, like, situation where you don't want to be going for Sterak is if you're going for a full tank build, or, like, you know, you want to be going, like, a more, like, you basically want to play for your team, and you're getting carried, and you want, like, your ADC to carry. At which point, like, you have no gold to buy anything, so just go shit like fucking Knight's Vow, and just go full support for your ADC, you know? But like, other than those 2-3 situations, always go for Sterak's Gauge. It's too good, and the normal Darius build is Phage item, Triforce Sterak, Triforce, you know, Cleaver, then it's Sterak, and then it's full tank, you know? Before we go into the full tank items, let's just like go into a bit of detail about the boots, right? So, I usually complete my boots before I complete my Triforce, depending on the lane I'm in. But, like, it's all up to you how quickly you do this, right? So, I'll just go over all the boots quickly and explain to you how useful they are, right? Of course, I have more detailed versions of this on my guide, but I'll just go through them here again. So, you want to pick this Boots of Speed up early on in the lane. I like to get this early on, because it lets me, like, catch up to my opponents, kite them all better. But let's just go through all the boots. Berserker's Greaves. I've seen a few Darius players do this in higher elos as a troll item, and it is very, very fun to play around with. But, like, if you're taking the game seriously and want to maximize your chances of winning, don't really get this. Like, it's better than some of the other troll items here, but, like, it's overall just a massive troll item, and you only want to be getting it if you're just so fucking far ahead that it doesn't even matter. Because you have so much base stats that, like, you're 3-4 levels ahead of everyone, and you just want damage, and you just can't be bothered, like, you just want to kill them right then and then. That's when you want Berserker Greaves, right? And next, Ninja Tabi. I already, like, you know, hyped this item up, and this item is a fucking godsend. You want to be getting this into all AD lanes. It's actually insane how good this item is. If you're even in lane, and you get this item, you just win the lane. It's like, you just win the fucking lane. And, like, Renekton, it beats Renekton. Like, Renekton, it's a bit more tricky, but, like, your Kled, Tabi's just lets you beat Kled straight up. Like, Kled actually doesn't stand a chance once you have Tabi's. Into Jace, into, like, you know, all attack 80 champions, Jax, Tryndamere, Fiora, you know, Riven especially, Camille, it just beats them so hard. It's like a cheat code, like I said. Buy this item and you get better. What's even better about this item is, like, when you complete this item, it's like a power spike. And some lanes like Riven, Vayne, and Lucian, you have to play very, very carefully around your own power spikes in order to get a kill and snowball on them. Especially into Vayne, like, you just look forward, like, you're just desperate in lane, and the light at the end of the tunnel is Ninja Tabis. Because once you get Ninja Tabis, you have this window of opportunity to get a kill on your opponent. Like, if it's a Vayne lane, get your Tabis, and then you have, like, 2-3 minutes in lane, where if you pull her into a fight, and just fight her straight up, with a Ghost, Flash, whatever you have at your disposal, you will win. Because into Ninja Tabis, Vayne's autos do, like, 50 damage per auto. Now, yes, she does have true damage, and you can't really reduce that, but like the thing about percentage of true damage is there is no counterplay. So for that specific matchup, like, you know, Tabi's all you can do, but don't worry, because with Tabi's, if she's just like ahead of you, then you will beat her ass to the ground, alright? Tabi's is just so fucking good. Next. And you basically want to be getting this if there's a Fed 80 character. Fuck's sake, League. But yeah, if there's a Fed 80 character on the enemy team, Fed Yasuo, Fed Zed, Fed Tryndamere, Fed 80 carries, you need this into Fed 80 carries, you know? It's a must-have. So yeah. This is just troll item, don't get this at all. Ionian Boots, like, it sounds good. Oh, Darius needs to fight around the summer spells, right? But in reality, it's just like, it's just cooldown reduction, and it reduces your summoner spells. Like, it makes it easier to make plays, but like you'll be much better off. Like, not easier, but you can make more plays, but you'll be much better off just going for the stats. You know, even Berserker Greaves is better than this shit, right? Don't get it. Merc Treads. I love these boots. Like, it's like, I hate CC so much. I hate CC. It's so annoying. And these boots are a life hack. Have you ever been like, you're in a team fight, you pop your ghost, you're catching up to someone, wait, and then Morgana binding, and you're just stuck there for 5 years. Like it's enough time for you to go to college, graduate, have kids, and then come back, and you're still CC'd, you know? Like Leona. Like, fucking, your life flashes through your eyes, and you come back, and then she like, all her cooldowns are back, so she stuns you again. Like, it's so annoying to play into the heavy CC teams that are very common in League nowadays. And to fight them, you need Mercury Treads. Like, the Tenacity is actually so good, and when you combine it with Legend Tenacity, Unflinching, and Sterak's Gauge, you just, like, you can basically walk through the CC. And sometimes when the CC is just severe, like Morgana binding, you can't really walk through it, but it's like 1 second instead of 3 seconds, which is like a lot better, because like every fucking, not just second, every millisecond matters in this game, right? So they're very good items, they're very good into mages, and you know, we know how powerful mages can be, so yeah, it's a very good item, so you can just rush it sometimes, you know? I mean, you don't want to rush it in lane like you would in Shitami, only into specific matchups like Cannon. Like, there's these AP range matchups that have CC, you know? Because otherwise, Spectre's Cowl is a better rush, but I'll get into it later. So yeah, let's continue with the boots. Mobies, like, if you're inting, they're very good, but like, you shouldn't be inting if you want to win games. I'm not going to recommend you to just run it down. Like, it makes running down a lot quicker, but don't do it. Come on. We want to win games, not int them. But yeah, troll item, don't get it. Swifties. Now, these are very niche boots, and I have gotten them on a few occasions, and they are useful sometimes. Now, what situations are they useful into? Into lanes that have a lot, like lanes and matchups where they have a lot of slows. Not CC, slows. I'm going to quickly explain how slow resist and tenacity works, right? Tenacity reduces the duration of slows and CC and everything. It reduces the duration. But slow resist reduces the magnitude. So let's say it's a 10-second slow. If you get 30% tenacity, it's gonna be like, it's a 10-second slow, and it's like a, you know, 50% slow for 10 seconds. With tenacity, like 30% tenacity, it's gonna be 50% slow, but for 7 seconds. But if you get like 30% slow resist, the slow lasts 10 seconds, but it's 35% slow. If you, like, my explanation sucks, so I'll just word it better, but basically, this reduces the magnitude of the slow, how bad the slow is. Like, 50% slow is not like 30%, whereas this reduces the duration of the slow, right? And into champions like Anivia, Ashe, and, you know, champions that build Iceborne, like Victor Top, like, you want to be getting this, because those champions, like, it's not just one slow and you're done. They have slow. It's just endless streams of slows. You know, it's just non-stop. You can't, like, fucking tenacity that shit. You need Boots of Swiftness. So, like, it's a good item at what it does. And, like, I'm not gonna recommend you to get it, like, every single time. But do get it, like, in the specific cases that, like, you need it. Just don't be shy from getting it, right? It's just another tool in your toolkit, basically, right? Now, um, hmm, let's get into like a bit of the earlier rush items, right? So, stopwatch. Now, you don't want to be getting stopwatch earlier on too much, but like if you feel like you're gonna be dove, if you feel like you have to make an early play or a late play, then you can just buy stopwatch and sit on it. You know, Zanya's the effect is the strongest effect in the game, and with Darius, a person who puts himself in risk very often, you're gonna be getting into a lot of situations where the stopwatch is gonna be very fucking useful. And the most important thing, well, like you can do your damage and then just stopwatch, you know, and just like it works more when you get like when you get bard ulted, your R will still go through. But anyway, like if you are and then you stopwatch, it's gonna be like giving you Noxy Might and everything, and then it's gonna keep you in duration, right? It doesn't work with the other abilities. I just tried right now, but with R, you can R and then you go Zanya's. And you're gonna be like invulnerable, and if you have Nox and Might, it's gonna give your other abilities time to come back up, you know. So like you can make plays with stopwatch basically. I just got Zanya's because like I had a broken stopwatch. So yeah, it's a decent but situational early rush item. Chain Vest. Now you don't want to be going Negatron Cloak because it doesn't really build into anything too good. Like these are situational, but Chain Vest is actually quite PogChamp into some matchups like Jace, Riven, where like it's not just auto attack damage, it's just pure, it's like not percentage damage, just pure flat damage. Into that shit, like sometimes a Ninja Tabi won't be enough, you know? Sometimes like Tabis will not be enough, so getting a Chain Vest on top of all that will actually be helpful, like, so that when you get, like, you know, Phage, you have HP, you have armor, and you have a bit of AD, you know, to help you out, you know? So, it's a good combination into some of the more tougher AD matchups, like, that you're struggling in, you know? So, Chain Vest is pretty good. Executioner's Calling. Now, you want to get Executioner's Calling into healing matchups, like Swain sometimes, Vladimir, Mundo. These healing matchups, sometimes Fiora, Rengar definitely is a big one if he's running the WMAX build. It's like these matchups that like they heal up a lot, but like they don't actually auto attack you that much. And ones where like you're the one who's winning lane, like you're the one that's ahead and they're behind, so like you just have to put your health regen on them instead of Brambles where they come and take it, you know. And like what's good with this Executioner's Calling is that it synergizes with your bleed. So like now that champion, it doesn't really work on this because I don't fucking know. But when you hit them, the health, like Grievous Wounds, is gonna stay on them for like 8 seconds per instance of damage you do to them. That's massive. So if they have any healers on their team, not just in lane, you want to get this like because you can spread your healing, like your bleed stacks with just one Q in a team fight. So you're one of the prime candidates to get anti-heal, and if you're in lane into Vlad and shit, the anti-heal will just win you the fucking lane. Because Vlad, it doesn't matter what he does, he will never heal up enough to just outdo your damage. So you can just one-shot him. If he gets cocky, you have this, pull him in, do your combo, doesn't matter if he pulls. There's no escape from Ghost, Darius, so he's just dead, you know? So this is very good into like Mundo especially. This is so good into Mundo, because Mundo is just a fucking meathead. Just won't die. Like he just won't die, and just get this, doesn't matter, he's dead now. The defensive sister or brother of this item is Bramble Vest. Now Bramble Vest works into bruisers who auto attack and heal. I'm talking Illaoi, Renekton, Kled. It works especially well into Kled, even though he doesn't heal that much. It works perfectly. It's a counter item to Fiora. It counters Fiora. You know, it works meh into other auto-attacking bruisers and fighters, but still though, right? You mostly want to be taking it into champions who have healing in their kit. And this item is so fucking good. Like, you get this along with Ninja Tabi instead of Chain Whisk, and you just win the lane. It's also very good into Riven, because Riven has Conqueror, she can stack it up very quickly, and Rivens tend to go Death Stance a lot. So, Bramble Vest is very good. And what's good about Bramble Vest is, let's say you're a laner, is AD and you need Tabis, but the entire rest of the team is annoying AP and CC, so you can't get Tabis. It's fine. Get boots, get Bramble Vest, and just that'll be enough for you in the lane, you know? Like, you don't have to finish the fucking boots, you know, you just get this, and then buy Bramble Vest, so that later on in the game you'll complete your boots into Merc Treads, but this should be enough for earlier fights into the Bruisers and shit, right? Bramble Vest is super, super fucking strong, and it's definitely a pickup, you know, worth doing. I've explained the boot items before, Ninja Tabi, Merc Treads, etc. I've explained how good they are. Now, Phage, like, I don't have to explain why this item is so good. Like, it's legit just, like, Darius's bread and butter in lane. It's like, it builds into his, like, most powerful items, Triforce or Cleaver. It synergizes so well with his kits, like, you hit, and then you walk towards someone. I mean, if it's a minion, I'd kill it, but you can walk towards someone. And the good thing about a good trick you can do is if a minion is low HP, let's say this is a minion with like 50 HP, and the enemy champion is annoying to get to, you Q, you kill them, and then like you get the move speed anyway. You get it from killing, like, it's not just from auto attacks, you get it from killing units. So if your Q kills the minion, then you can just walk up to them like a lot better and just catch them, you know. So there's that trick for you to, you know, take for Phage, you know. Another good rush item is Spectre's Cowl. Now, Spectre's Cowl is when you want to be getting into annoying poke AP matchups, you know, Cassiopeia, Rumble, you know, not Swain and Vladimir, because, like, they're not really annoying early on, but, like, the more annoying AP poke matchups, you want to be getting this, you know. It works in the cannon sometimes. Like, this just, like, this, if you have, like, triple Rejuve bead or, like, second wind, which you will have to get into some of these AP matchups, it is just a godsend. Because it lets you just take poke like nobody's business. And into Rumble, this just straight up wins you the fucking all-ins, like, from that point. Just makes you so tanky, lets you take so much more poke. Like, it's 150% more HP regen. For Darius, that's like 150, like 1.5 times of this, you know, which is 39. So it's 39 more HP regen, which essentially gives us 12 health per second. Now this is level like 18, so the HP regen is like obviously boosted, but like normally from level 1, Darius has, I think, 15 or so, I think. I'm not too sure actually, but yeah, Darius has a lot of HP regen, and he synergizes very well with Spectre's Cowl. And the good thing is, into Cassiopeia and shit, and it works into Rise as well. Rise is one of the matchups where you want to go Mercury Teds into Spectre's Cowl, like straight up, like if you haven't killed him yet, you know. So this rush into Rise is very good, into Cassiopeia as well. So another good thing is, into matchups that would give you trouble where you need to build this, you can build it into adaptive health later on. And it's just 1.6k more gold, so it's not that much more expensive. Like, let's say you have fucking Phage, you know, let's get Phage, where's Phage? It's like 2.4k, 1.7k into your big damage items, so like, it can cost more. Like, I'm not saying you should rush adaptive health, because that's just crazy, but it just puts into perspective about, like, gold costs, you know? So, like, tank items are a lot cheaper. So, yeah, let's just go into our next item. I think that should do it for the early rush items. So, yeah, QSS and Hex Drinker. I'll just go and explain to you these two. So, QSS works very well into, like, you don't want to get this in lane unless you're into a Mordekaiser, but even then, for the most part, like, this is just a waste of gold. Because, like, into Mordekaiser, you're never going to beat him in his ultimate in the first place. It's your job to just kite the shit out of him with your Ghost and not eat his damage for free, you know? That's what you do against Mordekaiser, and just, he's so easy to outplay with your Ghost. So your focus should be on outplaying him and not using Quicksilver Sash. This is more so against, like, Warwick, Malzahar, and just champions that can keep you suppressed, you know? And also a lot of annoying CC, you know? Into that kind of shit, you want to get QSS, especially when you are your team's only carry, you know? Because if you're your only carry and the Mal's flash ults you, then that's it for your team. You lose the team fight. Because your teams are just dogs. They're not going to do anything without you. So, like, you just need to be in the fight. This is good. Hex Drinker, now, I myself don't really recommend Hex Drinker, and I more so recommend Spectre's Cowl, because it builds into better items, and it works with Darius a lot better. But Hex Drinker, like, and also Maw of Malmortias is, like, probably, like, one of the worst items in the game for Darius. If you don't, like, if you just take out all the troll AP items and shit that don't work, it's probably one of the worst 80 items on the fucking list for Darius. It just sucks for Darius, and you don't really want to get it for too much. And it's only useful in, like, very, very specific situations where you're up against, like, full AP. But even then, you're better off with Sterak, because Sterak is a shield for everything, whereas Maw is a shield for just AP, you know. And it's just a pathetic amount of shield, you know. 350 magic damage, as opposed to the 500 or the 700 you get from Sterak, you know. It's just no comparison. Still, Hex Drinker actually does very, very well early on in lane. It's an early lane item, so if you're gonna get this item, rush it. It's very, very good early on in lane when you're up against AP opponents that just fuck you up, you know? Because when you're low HP, this combined with, if you're going, like, you know, sorcery, which you probably won't into some of the tougher AP matchups, this with Nullifying Orb will be pretty good at, like, saving your life sometimes. But in my opinion, you know, like, as I said, you're better off rushing Spectre's Cowl, so I wouldn't really recommend this at all. So yeah, those are the early rush items out of the way. So now, as always, I go into way more detail in my Darius guide, link in the description. So go check that out. But yeah, like I don't have time to go into detail on every single thing here, right? Like this video is already 50 minutes right now, and it's probably going to be a bit longer because we still have a lot of tank items to go through. So I'll just make it quick, but still, for more detailed information, my Darius guide in the description. So let's go through the AD tank items first, right? I'll just make Darius run around here because I don't want to get the AFK thing. So, the AD tank items, Deadman's Plate is gonna be like a very, very, very powerful item because this item allows for you to roam around the map very quickly. So let's say you're in a team fight situation, and you have to just like shove lane and then go to your team, shove lane and go to your team. For those kind of situations, and then you have to flank. The movement speed helps you just move around the map so much better. And for macro plays, it's just a lot better. And it helps you catch up to people as well. And your first auto against people is going to do a slow. So you could use that to set up for your Q instead of just using your W, you know? So it's a very good item. Like, crap. So it's a good item, but like, some items are better, you know? So yeah. Random's Omen. Random's Omen is like actually like better than Deadman's Plate for pure tank situations, you know? Like, you want to get Deadman's Plate if you're up against Tryndamere, Yasuo, Tristana, these annoying crit ADCs who have become fed. If they have 2 or more of those, or if they just have auto attackers in general, you want to get Random's Omen into them, as it's just a very, very good tank item for Darius, especially since, you know, you can flash into a team and like activate Random's and do like a, you know, just flash in at Random's and do a mass slow into a massive radius, right? Thornmail. Thornmail is a very, very niche item, but it is very, very good at its specific niche, right? You want to get Thornmail into situations where Random's Omen just won't cut it, you know? Like, it's the same with the Frozen Heart, but Thornmail, it's like, you want to get it into like Master Yi, Shyvana if she's building AD. It works very, very well into bruisers. It works very well into bruisers. So like, just like AD champions who don't take like, you know, who don't take crit. This works very well into. Frozen Heart. Now this is a very, very specific item, and you only want to take it into more like, like the same situation as like Thornmail, but like, kind of like, it's not as good. It doesn't make you as tanky as Thornmail because it doesn't give you any AD, but it does give you CDR. And it gives you way more mana, and it's like it gives you that like slow attack speed reduction in a massive area. So like, if you have to stack a like armor and they're full AD, then you take Frozen Heart, right? GA. You want GA if you are your team's only carry, and you want to build it as a third item after Triforce and Sterak, you know? Because other than that, late game it's just like a waste, I guess. You can get it as the last item, but only if you're like very important, you know? It doesn't really do it. Like, the stats on it are pathetic, in my opinion. Righteous Glory. If you are your team's only engage, Righteous Glory is very, very, very good. Because you can just run up to people. Like, they just can't stop you. And just apply this massive slow, you know? It's very good at catching people, like someone split pushing, you Righteous Glory catch them, you're in a team fight, you got 5 stacks, and you want to run into someone, you get it, and then you just run at them and kill them, you know? Gargoyle Stoneplate. Now, Gargoyle Stoneplate is like a very, very good item if you're going for the full tank build, because like, it's kind of counterintuitive if you go for it with this Triforce build, because your point is to one-shot squishies, and this reduces your damage. Like, it's only useful if you have your 5 stacks and you just want to ult people. Then you can get it, but otherwise, like, only get it if you're going for full support. Knight's Vow. This is a very good item if you're going for the full tank support of Darius. Just put it on your carry and, like, just protect them and peel them, you know. It's good for those kind of games, along with Locket, you know. Locket is also good, like, if you're more of a team player. Let's get into the MR items. So, Merc, you only want to get it if you want to complete your QSS. Maw, as I said, you don't want to get this item at all. This is going to be your main MR purchase. Spirit Visage, you know. It works with Darius so well. It works with Triumph. It makes you tankier. It has a lot of like MR. It gives you cooldown reduction. Gives you HP regen. It's such a good fucking item. It's a crime not to get it if you're against a full AP team, you know. The only situation where you would get something else over it is if you're against Cassiopeia Rise. These annoying AP champions who do a lot of damage using the same ability. Like, that's when you want to take adaptive health. So as I said, Cassiopeia, Rise, Rumble, you know, if they're fed, you know, you want to get this. Wit's End, and like, I think like the main bad part about League of Legends is that like the amount of AP items are kind of weak and low. They're not weak, but there's just 2 viable AP items for Darius. The rest of them are just damage items. And I would go into like there are a lot of damage options in the game. Like Death Stance is the only one I'm only going to go into, especially with the change they're going to do next patch. But basically, Death Stance is like a solid 3rd damage option if you're super fed, because like it's way too expensive to get normally, and it's very, very risky. And the build path is kind of shit, so it leaves you very like squishy. So you don't want to get this into games where you're ahead, like, you know, even only when you're like super ahead, you know. I'd go through the rest of the damage items, but honestly, like, they're pretty troll, and you need to be very good at Darius to use them properly. And I do not have time to go over the specific playstyles of every single fucking damage item. I just don't have the time to do it. It just takes hours. But I have done so with my Darius guide on Mobile Fire, right? So yeah, I'm not gonna continue on with this video anymore because it's already 1 hour, like a full compendium of all the viable items that you can get in Darius. The rest of the items that I haven't mentioned in this video are either unviable or way too complex to use, or just are troll items, you know, which is basically the same with unviable. But yeah, so sorry, but basically the rest of the damage items and their different quirky, you know, use cases are all explained in my Darius guide on Mobile Fire. I've mentioned it like 3-4 times already, but you know, it's there if you want it. Go check it out if you need more detailed information on Darius items. But if you want to have an item set, you just take all the items I mentioned in this video and you should be good. You know, the rest of the items don't matter, or they kind of matter, but for like 1 in 1,000 game cases, you know, which is basically as good as never. You know, these items should be good enough, right? So yeah, that's pretty much gonna be it for this video of all the meta items and the proper like item, like it's an item breakdown on Darius, you know. So yeah, it's pretty much gonna be it on this video. For this video, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. I know how annoying it is that all the YouTubers do this, you know, remember to like, comment, and subscribe, but you know, I kind of needed my community to grow, so sorry for begging, but I kind of have to. And you know, follow my Twitch. I'll leave the link for it below, and like you can ask your questions in the comment section below where I will answer them, but I'd rather you ask me during stream because then I can actually answer you with much more detail. So like, yeah, ask me your questions on stream. I'll be there, like I'll try to stream daily, I guess, so you can just come and ask me at any time. Check out my Twitter, I guess. I mean, I just retweet a bunch of dumb shit, but, you know, I'll leave it in the comment section if it's there. And most importantly, I will leave a link to my Darius guide, because this is honestly, like, why we're all here, basically, right? So, yeah. That's going to be pretty much it. Roku here, signing out, I guess. Have fun with building on Darius, I guess. And, like, you know, if you got anything from this video, just focus on the video, please. Like, don't just go through the video listening to it. Like, make sure you hear and not just listen, you know. I want to actually teach people, and I know what a lot of people do is, like, they watch the YouTube videos, like, top 10 tips you need on Darius to rank up, and, like, you watch that, and you go, like, out in one ear, out the other, you know. Like, you just don't change as a player at all. So, like, what I'm going to ask you to do is, like, I don't want you to go through the whole video, but if you, like, try to make sure something sticks in your head, alright? And go into the parts like where you thought something important was explained, and just make sure that you know that they're stuck in your head so that you can actually improve as a player, alright? But I'm just giving you this advice because I want you and anybody watching this video to improve at Darius and the game in general. So, you know, whether you want to improve or not is your choice. So, yeah, if you want to just play for fun, then go ahead. But this is a tutorial, so the purpose is making people improve. But yeah, I won't bitch on about random horse shit anymore. I can't do outros, so yeah, bye-bye.